Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris the High Guy Jacobs, and today we're going to take a break from Doomsday Last Survivor gameplay for me to make a personal request to each and every member of the community. I've been playing Doomsday Last Survivor now for about a year and a half, and when I first started, I'd be the first one to tell you how balanced this game was. It was one of the only free-to-play games that I had experienced where, truth be told, everything was accessible through time and dedication. You didn't have to spend $1 in order to achieve the might requirements in order to compete. Now, is that the best play for a business to run? No, they do need to make some income. So I can appreciate having some elements that are pay to win. Unfortunately, over the last year and a half, those some elements have turned into some more, and some more, and some more. With the addition of things like armaments, and the vehicle workshop, and the original release of Tier 3 blueprints, it has become very evident that IGG has lost sight of their player base and only started focusing on their whales and larger players. We see this in many things that they've done. Not only the events that they've proposed, but truth is, the events that they have, the reward basis for them. Number one, if you look at the changes they've made to Archipelago Raid and Genesis War, you'll see that the top rewards only go to the top alliances. They've basically told the rest of the remaining player base they don't care. And unfortunately for the majority of their player base, that's exactly what it is. They're talking to players who don't spend a lot or spend a little. Now, this type of mentality and ideology unfortunately kills mobile games. It's done it with so many in the past. And if the developers do not hear our request to balance the game more than they have, if they don't hear this request to listen to every player and give worth to every player, then unfortunately, I'm here to tell you that DLS, Doomsday Last Survivors, is dying. If you look at over the last couple of months specifically, you can see very clearly the IGG developers have decided to turn their back on the majority of players. They've done so by almost directly lying to our face. It's not that we're here to start a war with IGG, we just want balance. We want to make sure that every player, regardless of might or how much they spend, is validated and heard. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We've asked the developers recently to change the schedule to provide reprieve from this consistent onslaught of events. They told us in messages, and they told us through mail in the game that we would have Archipelago Raid once per month and Island Raid once per month. And then they introduced Genesis War. And since then, it has been a non-stop, consistent onslaught of Genesis War, Genesis War, Genesis War, followed by Archipelago Raid once in a blue moon. The problem with this consistency is that it provides no reprieve, no capabilities for the average player to build up resources, to spend time farming and preparing and building troops and saving speed ups to prepare for events. But it creates a system where even the whales themselves, the large players, are getting bored of the game, bored of the consistent draw, and leaving in droves. Some of the game's top players have already left and sold their accounts, hoping to get some of their money back out of the game that they've spent so much into. And unfortunately, it's happening more and more because the developers are just not listening. We have asked for a simpler system. We have asked for less paywalls. We have asked for more balance, and yet we get responded with back-to-back-to-back events. No reprieve, no break, no capability for us to actually recoup our losses without spending. Now, I understand the game cannot survive with simply free-to-play players. It has to have those who will spend. But I promise you guys, if the game was more balanced for the average player, you would have more average players spending. The rich are always going to spend. The whales will always spend. But if you balance this more to a situation where the average player felt like their dollars meant something, you would see an increase in your revenue. But instead, you focus on those who already spend a lot and ignore the rest. And unfortunately, that leads to the downfall of games. because they cannot survive on whales alone. Whales don't want to fight against other whales most often than not. It gets to be very continuous and very boring. They want change. They want balance, just like everybody else. And all it takes is all of the community to come together until the developers heed our words. Again, we're not looking to start a fight with IGG. We're looking to prevent the downfall of Doomsday. This coming Genesis War, and today is the 27th of August, 2024, this coming Genesis War starts a protest. That protest being very simple. Register for Genesis War, move to the island, but do not take watchtowers, do not take hubs, and do not engage in fights that will earn you ranking reward points. Number one, the ranking rewards aren't good anyway. Reason people play Genesis War is specifically for the war meets war rewards. The ranking rewards are not good. So let's make those better for the average player, not just the top. Let's see some balance there. Free-to-play players should be able to achieve the same level of playing, accepting and knowing it will take longer, but right now so much is just out of reach. Even in Genesis War, they changed the battle time specific to one demographic at the cost of their entire player base. We now have 2 fight times that are not efficient for over half of the world's population, and yet there is no resolution for that. Why don't you provide us with the opportunity to choose our fight times and register for those fight times? Why don't you open it up to more than 2,200 alliances so that there is more variety in gameplay, so that more people can play and participate? Why do you limit it to only 2,200? We need more access, not less. We need better rewards, not worse. We need more accessibility, not less. And unfortunately, if these demands are not met, if these are not seen as honest issues, as I've said, Doomsday is on its way out. And that's not what I want either. I love this game. It is near and dear to my heart. It is one of the most enjoyable experiences I've found in mobile gaming so far. But this is why we need to make that request that every crew member stands together. Every teammate, every alliance leader, every player in the community stands together. Register for Genesis War, move to the island, but do not rank for points. Do not collect those watchtowers. Do not fight for ranking points. Make sure that every alliance in there has 0 points for ranking. Doing this, maybe eventually IGG will be able to see our issue and bring some resolution to the table. For example, we were told that we would have 1 archipelago raid, 1 island raid per month. And now island raid is gone. We're still waiting for Dark Seal. It's gone. All we have is archipelago raid and then 3 back-to-back Genesis Wars. And unfortunately, from the community, Genesis War is the least liked event. Let's go to a system that works. Give us archipelago raid for a week. Give us Alliance League or Genesis War. Give us island raid for a week, and then give us a week off. Give us a week to respond and regrow and farm and recoup those losses. Allow the average player a chance to compete without reaching into our pocketbook. Because the truth is, the more that you force us to reach to the pocketbook, the less we do it. Yes, you'll still provide the whales with what they need, but unfortunately, when the remaining players leave, they leave too. So this comes from the entire community. We need your help. Please, from now on, for the next foreseeable future, until our demands are met, sign up for Genesis War, but do not compete. Do not earn ranking rewards. And if you can, don't spend and support IGG. Do not spend $1 until they listen to us and give us the things that we're asking for. Some balance in the game. That's it. A situation that allows every player their voice to be heard and allows every player the ability to compete at how they would like. Give us a scenario that provides the whales and the free-to-plays with the same opportunities. That's all we're looking for. We know you can do it. You have the potential. You have the capability. It's just on whether you want to or not. So I'm hoping, from one player to the next, not only will you average player heed my call and join the protest, but if IGG does see this, if any of the developers catch wind of this, listen to our calls, listen to our voices, realize that we want the same things that you do. We want this game to thrive. We want this game to be successful so that we all can enjoy playing it. And that is beneficial for you so that you turn income. If we all decide to leave, then there's nothing left for you out of this entire stream of effort that you've put into. Let's work together to create a community that cares about the average player as much as it does the top spending players. Create a community where we all can see that all it takes is us coming together to make change. And I believe we can. I'll tell you right now, GROP from Region 474 is doing it. We've got players all throughout the community that are doing it. This isn't just me. This is bigger than me. I'm just proud enough and privileged enough to be selected to be a voice. So please, take a stand. Sign up for Genesis War. Do not compete. And if you can, do not spend until IGG can hear our calls and balance this game for the average player. If you like what you saw, if you can agree with what you think, if you agree with what you see, go ahead and click the like button, comment down below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and pass this on to any of your Doomsday friends who you think need to hear this message. This is something for all of us. We need to stand together. Thank you.